How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Just chilling out.
That's cool. I've been waiting to actually interview you for a long time because I think you might be aware that Jerk, when you were in it, was one of my favourite bands back in the
Yeah.
OOs.
No, I get that a lot.
But that's
funny.
good.
It's funny how long ago it was. That's the thing that I don't know, makes me feel better about the whole thing. There's people. It still means stuff to people, and I couldn't be more grateful for that sort of thing. It's still valid.
It's good too because I didn't even know they were still going without you.
Oh, it wasn't for very long.
All right. So then can you tell me how you actually got into music? Like what made you a musician? Were you from a musical family or?
Kind of, yes and no. My mum kind of taught piano to people and stuff like that, but I've always sort of like sung. That was the one thing I was doing, was just singing. Ironically enough, at church I would be just sort of I'd sing psalms and all that sort of rubbish. Anyway, so classically trained, did like the school choir, but about year 6 or year 7, everybody else joined this sort of youth group, and it was basically everyone playing guitar, and I was like, oh, everyone's playing guitar and I'm just sitting here singing. So I bought like an $80 piece of crap nylon string guitar, and it was this, learn to play guitar, blah, blah. And I had the guitar for 2.5 hours and I could play the intro to Sweet Child of Mine.
Awesome. So then was Jerk your first band?
Technically, no, but I was in a band in the town I grew up in. I essentially met a guy through another guy in sort of just circumstances that I won't discuss. And he was singing for this American producer that he'd met and blah, blah, blah. And he and I were the type of people, we were really good mates. And so we'd be out all night and then we'd, go home and do something and then go and, by the way, I'm heterosexual. That sounds weird. It was.
I think people who know the Jerk era probably know what you're referring to.
It was more substance related.
Yeah.
That's the irony. Once Jerk started, I was clean. I was an alcoholic. That was about it. That's the biggest misconception about me that I've ever heard, that I was this raging junkie. That's my favourite one.
Well,
when in fact I was an alcoholic, because it requires less money to be an alcoholic.
When Pure is Defiled is like, that is a record a lot about drugs.
That's the thing, it's actually not.
All right.
There's only actually one song on there that's about drugs, and it's sort of not what people think. But it was more about...
Which one?
There's a song on that album called Love Your Drugs.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the closest thing to it. And it was more about someone that I was with at the time and her problem with,
drugs.
Substances.
Yeah.
And me having to, drive her to get it, and then examine the lyrics again after we talk, and you'll know what I mean. It was more about... That was the best part, because you could deliver lyrics that had some meaning and no one understood what I was actually talking about.
Right.
It's got a lot to do with who people really are inside themselves, Those sorts of songs provide a release where people would otherwise not have one. And that was what it was always about. It was like, everyone's got demons. Like, you can just sort of twist the meaning of this bit and take on that one, and, you're able to get your demons out. And that, to me, ultimately is what music is for. Not necessarily demons, but there's this thing inside of people that deserves to be given light. And I think music's the best way to achieve it.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's really cool. So then can we move on to Ink? Because I missed Ink. I didn't realise that you'd gone into another band even. So
yeah, that was sort of... It's funny, so many bands that now exist in the Sydney scene are sort of incarnations of Ink. There's Graveyard Rockstars and Our Last Enemy and Melody Black, and we all sort of came from the same little pool. I miss it too, actually. I was thinking about it last week because it was my birthday, and I was like, oh, man. So I was doing that thing you do on your birthday where you get too drunk and you look back on what you've done. So I was like, oh, yeah, Ink. So I put it on, I was listening to it, and I was like, no, man, it's still good. It's still good. It's still good. You can be proud of it. I'd love to be in one band for the rest of my life. It's the best band ever. But, what's actually been more fun is doing different things. And if Ink hadn't happened and stopped, Melody Black wouldn't have existed, and all of that.
And so now you are, of course, in Melody Black. How long has that been going, or how long have you been in it?
Oh, God. Leno's been writing these songs for a long time, and Ink ending sort of gave him the opportunity to give it light. I was actually not his first choice for singer. He went through a couple of cats, and then he just asked me, and I was like, you know what? Can't hurt. He explained what it was that he wanted to do, and I was like, yeah, I get it. But the band he had and the guys he was playing with, once I actually jam with them for the first time, it was like, nah. I'm extremely lucky to be singing with musicians like this, so can't really say no to an opportunity like it.
Right. You said he was writing a lot of songs, so that was musically speaking. You write the lyrics for Melody Black?
Well, the first album literally was a way for us to get the stuff that he'd already done, which they were all great songs, you know what I mean, to get them out. And that's why it's taking us a long time to do a new album, because it's far more collaborative effort this time.
Right.
Because the first album was about, let's get these songs out. They're great songs. We have a good time playing them. I've got no problem singing other people's lyrics if they're decent, and they are. I mean, I'm not precious. That's the problem. People get too precious about things like that. But you know what? If they're good tunes, who am I to go, no, that's all wrong? I sing them my way. So, you know, I still have my own input into that side of it. But they're Lino's tunes. That first record is, how awesome is Lino, for God's sake? You know, the next album, I mean, Leather Girl, we all wrote together. Right. And it's an obvious, you know, step up from the first album.
Right. Okay. I don't know if I've listened to the first album.
Well, you've heard Pretty Ugly, right?
Yeah.
Pretty Ugly is all Lino.
Oh,
Leather Girl is a collaboration of all of us.
I like Pretty Ugly.
I do too.
Yeah, it's a good song.
It's a great song. Yeah. But all I'm saying is
that you didn't have any input into the actual lyrics or anything.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because the lyrics are good.
If anyone does actually, because you do co-host a radio show.
I do indeed.
You co-host U Radio, which is on Triple UFM.
Yeah.
And if people listen to that, you actually do cover songs on there acoustically.
Yeah. Well, I haven't for a really long time, but I played solo gigs 2 to 3 times a week, more so. And there's nothing wrong with playing covers, because I do it my own way.
Well, God forbid you should sing like Britney Spears.
Well, I do. And if you've never seen...
No, you sing her song, you don't sing like her.
Not like her, no. But if you haven't seen a pub full of metalheads singing along to Hit Me Baby One More Time, you have not lived.
Yeah, talking about your solo stuff and that, because you do originals as well, solo.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're your songs, they're not like Melody Black songs, are they?
No. See, I wrote a bunch of them, Dirk Material, and I've written plenty of songs over the years,
So you do some... A lot
of the ink stuff was mine and all that sort of stuff.
You do some of those songs acoustically as well?
Yeah.
Right, because you are coming to Melbourne.
I am coming to Melbourne. I'm doing Veludo Bar.
Veludo Bar in Ackland Street.
Yeah.
On the 20th, I believe?
On the 20th, yes, and then Music Man Megastore, which someone actually explained to me what it is they do, and I'm like, that's very cool. We don't have that sort of stuff in Sydney.
Right, what is it they do?
It's a music store with a venue in it.
All right. But a lot of music stores in Melbourne have bands come in and play, even if they don't actually have a venue in them.
Well, they don't in Sydney.
Don't they?
I'm saying it'll be a treat.
That's in Bendigo. You're doing the Music Man Megastore on the 20th.
Bendigo.
All right. You're at the Veludo on the 19th.
Yeah, 19th and 20th. And then I'm coming back up to Wollongong to do a benefit gig and all over the place.
And have you played at the Veludo Bar before?
I never have. It'll be a first. I've done a fair few venues in Melbourne, but it'll be a first for that one.
It's a lovely little bar, 2 stories.
I've looked at photos.
Yeah.
It looks pretty rad.
It is. It's nice.
And then after that, I'm doing I get to be the Nirvana Unplugged album at a Nirvana tribute show in Canberra. After that, then I'm doing a Skid Row one in June, which I'm actually really looking forward to. It's going to be fun.
All right, you're actually it says here you're doing 2 Nirvana tribute shows.
One in Sydney and one in Canberra.
Right, and then that's the 4th of April you're doing the Nirvana tribute show.
Yeah.
And then you're also in the basement in Canberra for an 80s tribute night to Skid Row.
I did it last year and I did Tears for Fears. It's actually pretty funny, but it was a really great night. The headliners were a Beastie Boys thing and they were fucking awesome. But no, this year I'm doing, Skid Row. Because Ink actually opened for Skid Row the last time they were here.
Right, because I know that, Jerk particularly did do some good supports, and I don't know what Ink's done, but I was going to ask you, what's been, what you consider the biggest support you've had?
Well, there's biggest and there's best.
Yeah, I know. I'm asking the biggest first.
We did POD, Manson, Disturbed, Insane Clown Posse, and Killing Joke. The Jerk opening for Killing Joke gig was the last Joke gig ever.
Right.
Because then all the other stuff happened.
Okay. So then which is the best one you've done?
See, ICP was the funnest because Violet J Insane Clown Posse took me and Lino out to a titty bar in Adelaide and spent $600 in shots. That was quite good.
Right.
But, you know, Killing Joke was awesome because it was the last time Killing Joke was actually here with Raven still alive. Because the bass player, died of a heart attack shortly, a couple of years after that.
And
years ago.
You supported Marilyn Manson in Sydney and you were meant to support him in Melbourne, but you didn't.
We didn't. We were never meant to support him in Melbourne. Mandy Kane was always booked for that gig.
Ah. So then, well, like you said, you feel a little, I guess, apprehensive when you're on your own in the solo shows and that, but you do a lot of them.
Not apprehensive, just more self-conscious.
And yeah, but you do a lot of them and you get a huge reception from them. You get a lot of people who really enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, there's good nights and there's bad nights.
Oh, of course, it's music.
As far as turnouts go, always is.
Yeah, but people who go enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the one thing you can actually expect. It's like, I will entertain you.
Yeah.
It's kind of my job.
Yeah, people can find you at facebook.com/Johnathan Devoy.
Solo, it should be.
What is Horrorwood Mannequins?
Horrorwood Mannequins is a band from Sydney. They've been around for a really long time, and I've just sort of joined them as a drummer.
And so how long have you been playing drums? I mean, you did mention...
Life, that's what I do. I play music. I play most instruments.
You did mention you played it in the movie.
Yeah, that's because I can actually play drums.
All right. So are you a better drummer or guitarist?
That's hard to say. For a singer, I make a good drummer or guitarist or bass player. I play piano and flute and clarinet and
self-taught, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Oh, except for your mum teaching you piano.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I will tell people once again that you will be at the Balloodoo Bar in St Kilda on the 19th of February. Actually, they should search out Johnathan Devoy on YouTube. You do have your own channel.
Yeah, it's JTHM Devoy 101.
Yeah, and you do have a lot of your acoustics on there.
Yeah, there will soon be more. I've been a little lazy lately, so I'm going to start putting up more originals because I have been, like with everything else I'm doing, in the process of writing new material. So
awesome. I will definitely try and get down and see you at the Balloodoo Bar on the 19th.
Playing about 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Right. And on the 20th, you'll be at the Mega Man Music Store in Bendigo.
Yes. Both nights playing with Ricky Bloomfield and Michael Gorham. And I'll send you links to those guys as well. You can do with them what you will, but they're both awesome singer-songwriter types.
Oh. And hopefully it won't be too long before you're back in Melbourne.
No, I'll be back with a new album, with new everything. But, yeah, sooner rather than later.
Cool. And, yeah, people should definitely go and like Johnathan Devoy, facebook.com Johnathan Devoy, and keep up with everything that you are doing because you are doing a lot of stuff.
I like working hard.
Yeah.
It's more fun than sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah, definitely. It has been great talking to you.
You too.
Thank you very much.
My absolute pleasure.
You too. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.